We are here. Uh, uh.
Oh man, it's been. I can't believe that. It feels like the Super Bowl was a long time ago.
Because you didn't care
Doesn't
about
it
it.
though? It feels like it was like
It does.
months, but it's only a week.
It was a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a week. Yeah. We didn't care too much about the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I did not. But I mean, good for those that did. I guess Congratulations.
Yeah. I yeah. I didn't care. Really care too much. Especially since the team I thought was gonna win did not win.
Oh, and I'm
I'll tell you who I won't be rooting for next, who I won't be think is gonna win the Super Bowl next year. It's not
the
them.
49ers. No, I can't even imagine.
It's not the
I don't know how they were
49ers.
the early favorites already, like right after the Super Bowl. But
I don't with no defensive coordinator and well, we don't know and uh Kyle Shanahan. I'm gonna say this. He's I can't. I won't vote against for him again. I won't. I won't think because he's gonna fail in the clutch
it's tough.
until he does it. Until he does it, he doesn't get my vote. My vote of confidence.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything nice to say about him. So I don't even think I have bad to say about him either. So let's just say whatever. Like he leads teams that do very well, and then don't.
And it's just one game, so you really it's hard to say it's him because it's only one game. Anyone could like you can just get out coached for one game. I think he puts together really good teams. His teams are really good. They're really
He usually
sound.
gets out coached for like a half because they were fine. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. They did fire their defensive coordinator, but I don't think it's because
Hmm.
I don't think it's like a blame game sort of thing. I just don't think they got together. They
No,
don't got along very well.
yeah.
Didn't get along
So
very well. I wanted to say.
on the radio out here, we have a guy who's like good friends with Kyle
Mm-hmm.
Shanahan. Like they went to Texas together. He was in his wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. They're that friends. So he went to the Super Bowl. He was talking about before the game happened that Wilkes might be fired even after a win.
Mm.
He just said that he said from a standpoint of that they just don't work together well. He doesn't want Wilkes may not like to run the system they have because they had two coaches before him that were all in their
Mm-hmm.
system, right? So D'Amico Ryans, Robert Salah, like Salah was there. Then D'Amico was the like a back, not a backup, but a linebacker coach or something with them, and they promoted within. This is the first time they went outside, and they don't. It was like it's not Steve Wilkes' fault. He just doesn't like running the system that Kyle Shanahan wants to
Yeah.
run. So he just said that he said even if and I've heard other people say even if they would have won, there was a good chance they would have parted ways.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I know there are people that knee jerk to like,
Mhm.
oh, how could you fire him? Because blah blah this and that and numbers and all that stuff. And I don't even think it was about that at all. It was just
No.
need to need to make changes and shoot. Like, and it wasn't like they needed to make a change. They needed to make a change because they wanted to make that change. It wasn't like, oh, our
Yeah.
defense was terrible. We got to like overhaul or something like that.
Yeah, it's just that he made a hire probably a little quicker than he probably wanted to. Um and didn't get the guy he wanted. Whatever happened.
Well,
It happens.
I think if we definitely fell victim this year to being in the Super Bowl and losing, and then all of the defensive coordinators that were on the market, quote unquote, were
Yeah.
gone already. So
There's still one. There's still two out there, but they're not they're good. I think they'll wait for head coaching
yeah, they're
jobs.
not. Yeah, because I think the 49ers got somebody already, right? Didn't they?
Did they?
Oh,
That'd be
I gotta look it
fast.
up. 49ers defensive coordinator. Uh, no, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was open.
No,
I
it
hadn't
still
seen
is open
anything.
because there's ex Seahawks coach Pete Carroll to rival 49ers. No, it's not going to happen.
He works internally with the
Yeah,
Seahawks.
exactly. Bill Belichick to 49ers. Kyle Shanahan once said it'd be a smart decision. I don't see it happening. They'll hire
Nope.
somebody. Who knows who it'll be? My
Yeah,
guess,
they might bring someone
it'll
up.
be a famous last name. It feels like there's a lot of.
Do you think so? I
It
don't
feels
think
like there's
it'll
a
be a
lot of
famous last
nepotism
name.
in football coach hirings. I mean, like even Shanahan himself is the son of a coach, right? And
Hmm.
like, don't be surprised if it's
John Gruden,
yeah,
son, brother,
John
John Gruden's
Jay and
brother.
the Harbaughs, and then you got the
You
Ryans.
got Belichick's both of his sons
Yeah, like there's lots
coaching
of yeah.
still.
So don't be surprised if it's like Vic Fangio's nephew or something like that, or who knows? You know, it's all good. It'll be something like that.
Romeo Crennel's grandson.
Yeah.
I just-
Uh, and I hope he has a
oh man.
cool name too. Like,
Romeo Crennel's pretty
yeah, I
cool.
know. I mean,
So
yeah, if you're following up Romeo and Cornell, like those are two names that are just like Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall
mhm.
of Fame names. Harlan, we gotta talk Bears
Gotta
and
talk
Giants. We gotta
sports.
talk
Gotta
Bears
take
Giants,
Bears and
right?
Giants.
Have the Giants done anything?
Yes. They announced their entire
I did
staff.
see
I
that.
don't know anyone. It was very uneventful. But that's it. That's all they've done. The talks is that Saquon has got different
Mm-hmm.
representation again. This will be like the third time he's had different representation.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to talk and they're going to have a conversation at the combine. Um, I don't know what that means. If they're going to try to sign him, or if they're going to let him test free agency. But that's probably about all I've heard. The New York Post posted, I think it was yesterday or today. They do not believe that the Giants will franchise Saquon Barkley.
No, I wouldn't
It will
think
be
so.
a 12 million to franchise
Mm-hmm.
him. So they just don't think he'll franchise him. So if they don't sign him long term, he'll get his wish and gets to test free agency. What the market's like out there, it's rough.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
rough.
know. We'll see. I don't know. As much like Saquon, uh, the 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 team that I am interested in is in no position to spend big money on a running back. I don't think. Uh,
No one is.
well, you know what? Like, how good would Saquon look in that Baltimore Ravens purple and black? Catching
He
passes
looked
out of
pretty
that
good.
backfield. That's an
He
insane
look.
backfield.
I'm gonna tell you something
Huh.
now. I'll tell you something.
Okay.
That backfield is cursed.
What is
You
that
get
too?
behind that
What is that
backfield,
too?
you will be injured.
There is
That
that.
backfield
Yeah,
is
it's like a
cursed.
Bermuda Triangle or something, right? I don't know, but
Yes, they can't keep a healthy running back.
that's a good looking.
They can't keep a healthy anyone.
That'd be really slick, though. I mean, just Saquon. Yeah,
Eh, Yeah,
you know who's got a lot of money
yeah.
and needs to make improvements? The Washington
Oh,
Commanders. What if they threw money at
oh.
Saquon?
I hope he wouldn't do that because
that's
winning is
just
something that
rivalry.
he said he wanted to
That's
do.
rivalry for you.
It, I'm no. That's they're not very good.
No, they're not.
And if
They're gonna have a
winning
young
is
quarterback,
a new
new
coach,
head coach. They got Magic
new
Johnson
everything,
hyping everybody up.
don't do it. If winning is
Yeah, you're
something
not gonna
that
get a
you
Super Bowl
value,
there, but I mean, I think
not when there's other teams that could possibly want you, and you could take a 1 year. Like the thing about him as a running back,
mhm,
he's going to try to go for that long-term contract
as he should.
first, right? Of
Yes.
course, that's what he
Hmm.
wants. But if the long-term contracts are not there, then he's just a hired gun.
Hmm.
He could go someplace for a year on a prove it deal and play for 6 million, 7 million, and go someplace like Kansas City. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's not
Like
a prove it
he,
deal.
he
I
could go.
don't know. Kansas City's even in the market for a running back, though. So
They're probably not, but he can go. He can go to the Chargers. He can on a prove it deal 1 year. He could go pretty much anywhere he wanted to.
mm.
If you throw the long term contract off the
But he's not.
table, he can go to a
He's not in
competitor.
a prove it deal position, though, right? Like he's in. He's not like coming off an injury or coming off of a particularly down year. He's still Saquon.
He didn't go to thousand. Yeah, he's still Saquon, but that's what I'm trying to say. If it comes down to he is still unsigned, if he's unsigned,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the season is starting, because he didn't like the contracts that were out there. Because that's the only thing would be he doesn't like the contracts out there. I think there will be suitors for him. I don't think I think there's a market for him, but if he doesn't like the money being offered, I could see him sitting out a year. Not sitting out a year, but then basically not taking a long-term deal and taking maybe an 8 year, $8 million, $6 million 1 year deal, and then redoing this again going into next year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If there's nothing else there, like I don't know why you would. You definitely want more than 1 year. So where would he go?
You
I'm
definitely
trying to
do.
think of. I'm trying to think of like what are potential landing spots. Here's a
I've heard,
okay.
and I this is the Cowboys. I
Oh
don't want
yeah.
that
Well yeah.
because the Cowboys are in desperate need of a running back, and they would only want you for 1 or 2 years anyway. I don't think they're going to give you a long-term
That's
deal,
true.
but
Because
they're talking about either him or Derrick Henry. The Cowboys will want. Eh, eh,
Derrick Henry,
Yeah,
their biggest problem was, well, they had several problems, but I think one of their biggest problems on offense was they could not run the ball consistently, and they also could not get short
yep,
yardage by running the ball.
yes, yep,
Derrick Henry
yep.
solves both of those problems,
Correct,
and
correct. He should be their number one option because I
he's
don't want
still
to see
good.
Saquon in
He's
that
20,
jersey.
27 or 28. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know why you would. I know why Tennessee's not going to sign him because the money involved doesn't
Yeah.
make sense, right? And they're not in a
Mm-hmm.
position where a running back could help put them over the top. Like
Same reason
the
why
same
the
way,
Giants wouldn't
like
sign.
if the Giants sign
Yep.
Saquon, it is simply because we have money we have to
He's their
spend,
face.
and this is like a
Yeah.
goodwill gesture. Like we've got
Yes.
all of the free agents we could possibly get. We have nothing left. We have no other options. We need Saquon. So hopefully Saquon doesn't find himself where he's in that position where he's just like, I guess I'll go to the Giants. So hopefully he goes somewhere. But Derrick Henry to the Cowboys or Saquon to the Cowboys is interesting. I think Carolina is an interesting landing spot for a running back.
Not for someone who wants
Not
to
for somebody who
win.
wants to win, no, but there's only so many teams that are going to spend money on a running back, and especially ones that are in positions to win. I think the Cowboys are probably like the team that will spend money on a running
Yeah,
back, and that's it. And
because they're probably the biggest position in need, I think,
and I think it's just
and
like
not
what Jerry Jones likes to do.
yeah. Get the
Yeah.
name, bring
He
the
likes the
name
name.
in.
He likes the
Oh,
running
for
back.
sure.
He's always like that. I mean, it worked with Emmitt Smith, so it'll continue to work, right?
I've heard Saquon to the Chargers.
See, that doesn't make any sense because they have Austin
Uh,
Eckler right now, and he's a free agent. So
mhm.
why would you
Yeah.
not take?
Well, Austin Eckler's 30, isn't he?
No,
Or is he the same age as say?
I think they came in this. They're about the same age.
They
Austin
might be
Eckler,
28.
28. Yeah. So
He'll be 29 by the when season starts. And I think Saquon just turned 27. His birthday was recently.
let's see. NFL free agent running backs. This is going to be a good list.
Yeah, 27.
This is going to be. Here's just the top 10, and that's all we need. Because at number 10 is
Mhm.
Gus Edwards. At number 9 is J.K. Dobbins. At number 8 is A.J. Dillon. At number 7 is
AJ Dillon, he's still playing.
yeah, he played for Green Bay last year.
Yeah, he was the running back for the Green
Yeah.
Bay. Yeah, he just was hurt a lot, wasn't
No,
he?
that's the other one. Who's the other running back they have? Because they have two running backs. The other
They
guy, I
do.
can't remember his name. 7 is Zach Moss. 6 is DeAndre Swift.
He's played with the Bills.
5 is Austin Eckler. 4 is Tony Pollard, which I think is too high. 3 is Saquon Barkley. 2 is Derrick Henry. And 1 is Josh Jacobs. That's how they have him listed on here.
Mm. Josh Jacobs being the youngest out of that group, right?
Probably. Something like that. And I bet you
26 years old. He just turned 26.
I
So
bet you him and Not DeAndre Swift, but Zach Moss. Zach Moss has got to be a young guy, right? I don't even know.
Yeah, but Zach Moss hasn't had the success that the
Oh no,
others
heavens no.
have. Yeah, he's 26 as
Yeah.
well.
So yeah, and this is that he had 4 years, so his rookie contract is done, right? So that's why he's a free agent. And I think you're gonna see guys like what's his face from Cincinnati, um
Mixon,
Mixon getting cut. I think you're gonna see potentially uh, Chubb getting cut too for the same reasons.
injuries.
No, salary cap reasons.
Mm.
He's
That
due like
offense
I
was
think Chubb's
Chubb.
due like $14 or $15 million next year.
I saw something that the salary cap's supposed to be like 239
Yeah.
projected.
Let's see. Boy, I hate googling anything Browns related. Browns salary cap. It just screws up everything. You start googling for Browns things.
Yeah, 243 is the projected salary cap.
Yeah, let's see. Nick Chubb is a
Oh,
$15.8 million cap hit next year. He's $4 million dead
oof.
money if you cut him.
It almost makes
Yeah,
sense
which sucks because one,
because he's
he's coming
injured
off that
and
injury, right? Which is
bad
another
injury.
reason to probably cut him. Which I hate saying that, and
Hmm.
that's why if you're a running back or any football player, you want long-term
You get
guaranteed
your
money,
money up front.
right? That you need that. But that's a name that'll be a free agent, probably. And I think Mixon the same thing. And right now the Browns are 19 million over the cap.
So it's
It's
an easy
because they have
save.
what's his face is a $63 million cap hit, almost $64 million cap hit.
Miles. Oh no.
The other guy, yeah,
Watson.
yeah. I'm looking at his name. I just
Yeah.
for a guy that I so wanted the Bears to draft and that I so wanted the Bears to trade for. Thank goodness neither of those things happened because I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. Speaking of the Bear stuff, I saw someone talk about the Bears should have a reunion with Mitch Trubisky since he was
Why?
released
For
from the
what reason?
the Pittsburgh
Why?
Steelers. Because they said you're gonna need a third. If you get rid of Fields, you're gonna it's like bring him back home, is what the guy said. I was like,
No,
this has got to be a joke, right?
No, because there's. I don't even want to talk about the
The
Bears.
people that love him.
What? I don't have a problem with Mitchell Trubisky. I think he's probably a fine human being. I liked him when he was on the Bears. He put in a lot of effort, a lot of hard work. He just isn't a professional
He
quarterback.
lacks the skill. He lacks the
He just
skill.
he lacks
Yes,
skill.
he lacks.
And he was one of those things where when the Bears drafted him, it was all the things because he was quarterbacky, right? He was tall and a little bit of mobile. He had a strong arm. All these things like, oh, even though he's never really thrown a ball in college a whole lot. He's only been a starter for 1 year. We'll turn him
I'm
into
still
something.
amazed at. I'm still amazed at how high he got picked.
Yeah, 2.
Like he does at times. At times, he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback.
No.
And he was the number 2 pick.
He was the number 2 pick. He was the pick that when it happened, I was like, okay, I'll find a way to like this, right? Mitchell Trubisky.
I know that.
The Bears picking Mitchell Trubisky was like the first time I saw the Phantom Menace in the theaters. I was like, all right, it's Star Wars. I'm going to find a way to like this. And then when I went back to the theater that same day, it's like, I'm starting to see why this is good, right? and then people are like, "You want to go see Star Wars?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go see it. I've seen it. I like it. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good." And that's what Mitchell Trubisky is.
You just kept conning yourself into believing he was
It's like,
good.
oh yeah, Darth Maul. That's why it's good because there's 2 lightsabers in one. Yeah, it's because Mitchell Trubisky threw 6 touchdowns against the emaciated defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that year. Oh, or was the
He was
Washingtons? It's like, oh yeah, he's
also a
good.
Pro Bowler.
He is alternate Pro
Also, he
Bowler,
made that Pro
alternate Pro
Bowl.
Bowler. Keep it straight.
Are we just throwing that disclaimer in there, that asterisk alternate?
He's not listed as a Pro Bowler.
He played.
If you look at like
I'm pretty sure
he wasn't
is.
elected as a Pro Bowler,
I'm
so he's
pretty
not
sure.
a Pro Bowl quarterback, right? So
That's not how that works.
well,
that's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
If you go to Pro Football Focus, it says one Pro Bowl.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay,
Pro
so
Bowl,
he attended the
Pro
Pro
Football
Bowl
Reference.
as a participant
Mm-hmm.
after every other quarterback
On the team.
every other quarterback in the NFC wasn't able to go.
Yes, Mac Jones is also a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but he was elected. He was elected. He was not like an alternate. He was one of the 3.
There's always an elected person that's going to get it because usually the Pro Bowl quarterback can't play.
Well, yeah, the Super
there's
Bowl one,
always
yeah,
that.
sure, right? But
So he's fourth. So fourth is fine.
no,
If fourth, he
yeah,
gets it.
just like Darth
gets it.
Maul was fine.
that's what I mean.
Yes,
That Pro Bowl skews a lot. Like
it was.
because it was not a bad year for him either.
You know what's crazy?
Wasn't great. It was his best year, and it still was 24 touchdowns.
He had a fine. He actually had a pretty darn good season. But now here's why Mitchell Trubisky is coming back to the Bears as backup because it is, I believe, some sort of anniversary for the Phantom Menace, and it's being re-released in theaters. I just realized that. I think it's the 30-year anniversary, or the 20-year anniversary.
Did they remove Jar Jar Binks out of it?
This is Jar Jar Binks.
He's got to be.
This is.
I mean, they got to remove him out.
Yeah, digitally removed.
The way George Lucas intended it. I never meant for Jar Jar to be.
I finally have the technology to remove my greatest mistake. Okay, so The Phantom Menace came out in 1999. It's the 25th anniversary, and it's being re-released in theaters.
Who's gonna go see it? Did they not see it?
So,
Did everyone not see it already?
There's a point where I was like, do I want to go see that?
Oh, no. No, you don't. You don't.
I'm not going to, but I will have an internal struggle. I don't know why. I do not like the movie. I have no desire to see it. But it'll come out and be like,
oh no,
Star Wars at the theater, huh? Maybe I want to go see that.
Oh, you don't.
I know I don't. I know. They're Jar Jar Binks steps in poop at one point, but then he also gets his tongue stuck in like some electrical thing that makes his face numb. Oh, that's so terrible. I only know these things because I recently
you saw it 3-4 times in the theater. You said,
but I rewatched it a handful of years ago with fresher eyes with my children, and I 100% understood what George Lucas wanted to do. Right? You could see it. You're like, okay, this is what he wants to do. But then there's this Jar Jar Binks thing that gets thrown in. And it's like, oh, okay. Then he wants to do that. And the editing is so terrible. Every scene is like 45 seconds to 3 minutes too long. And you're just like, oh, okay. That's what Mitchell Trubisky is.
Oh, man. Mitch Trubisky. Oh. I don't know. I don't know. We throw bust around, I think, a little too loosely.
Oh, for sure.
And I wouldn't quite call him a bust, but I just don't know what they saw in him.
It's
not in that pick. Not in that at that pick.
Not when you had a national champion there.
They didn't y'all go up to get him too?
Just only one spot.
to only one spot.
They were at 3.
As if
they were at 3 and moved up to 2. because we
They
had to
just
have Mitch
knew
Trubisky.
somebody was blowing a lot of smoke and then y'all bit it.
So
Y'all went for it hook, line, and
Ryan
sinker.
Pace, who was the GM at the time, had a history
Mm-hmm.
of bidding against himself in negotiations. Like he
He's the smartest one in the room.
always
That's the person you should be
and that's what he
biting
did there. There
against.
was no need to move that one spot because so here's the rationale. I remember when it came out. Like the rumor was that the Browns were looking to move up to 2 to take Mitch Trubisky, which should immediately be the indicator
That you should not take
you should have no interest
Trubisky.
in Mitch Trubisky. That should be
Mhm.
the indicator number one. You should be like, oh wait, I need to reevaluate my life, and then you take either Jamal Adams at 3, which is what everyone thought was going to happen, or
Mhm.
you take Watson or Mahomes.
Watson or
And
Mahomes.
Mahomes was obviously the right choice.
Watson was the
I think
but
Watson was the
Watson was the
immediate
one
right
that.
choice.
Mhm.
And when they moved up to 2, I was like, are they doing that to get Watson? Like, I didn't know. I really thought they were going to draft Deshaun Watson, which in hindsight,
Yeah, there's a
they
lot of
stupid.
there was some mistakes that was made in that draft.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Trubisky being one of them because there's a lot. There's a lot. I didn't realize that Deshaun Watson went 12.
Yes.
That Mahomes did go ahead of him. Kansas City knew to trade up to get Mahomes. That's the one they
Yep.
wanted. Man. That's smart of them. So smart.
Yep. And one of the key pieces in the front office that was head of college personnel and development is now the Bears general manager.
Mm. So he's gonna make dumb moves. No, he's gonna do some dumb.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's done anything. I think his worst move was Chase Claypool, but at the moment, I don't think it was a dumb move.
Because you got rid of him. He realized his mistake and got
Ripped
rid
the
of it as
Band-Aid
fast as
and
he
still got
possibly
a
could.
6th-round pick for it. And all he did was ruin the
Yeah.
Dolphins. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about doing something dumb because I did do there's been a lot of
Yes.
talk about dumb things, and most of those dumb things involved the draft and what's coming up. And I saw this, and this is Giants related, so
Oh no.
I haven't scrolled up yet. Former NFL GM Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum was the head of player
Used to GM of the Jets.
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
2013 to 2015, I think is what it said. I had it up. I don't want to pull it up again. He proposed.
I know Fireside Giants.
What's that?
Oh, I've seen Fireside Giants at the group.
He proposed this trade. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do. Come on.
What?
Let me do this.
What? I see his face. No.
The Bears receive the 2024 first round pick, number 6, the 2024 second round pick, number 39, the Giants 2015 first round, the Giants 25 second round, and edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau.
And came on to get
The Giants
bleep
received the
outta
first
here.
overall pick. This is his proposed trade.
I'm waiting for the
No,
end.
that's it.
I'm waiting for
That's
the
it.
end.
I only reason I liked it was so
No.
I could find it again. Because if I'm the Bears, I would never do this trade in a million years.
Oh, you wouldn't trade it? I wouldn't trade it.
No.
I think we're giving up way too much. But a number 1 pick, I'm gonna tell you something. There's only a few times where I think the number 1 pick is worth something astronomical. More times than not, I think, yeah, they're good. They're good. But can you find talent as good in that draft? How many times is the number 1 pick in the draft the best player in the first round or the best player of that draft? I think more times than not, it's not. He's not.
Sometimes, let's see. Oh boy, we have to pull up all the first round draft picks. But are we going off of relative value at position, or
I just think like if you look at the first round and you looked around and you saw who was the picked in that draft, you could probably find someone better than who had a better career than that person, than the number one pick of that draft. I'm looking at the draft with Myles Garrett, who was a great player, but Patrick Mahomes is also in that draft at 10.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey was also in that draft and got drafted at 8. Like there are a lot of good players that in the first round. So I've always thought that the first pick of that draft has always been a little bit overrated.
Let's go. Last year was Bryce Young. It's TBD. Trayvon Walker.
To be TBD, but yeah, right now you can clearly say number 2, CJ Stroud was the better player.
Oh, for sure.
TBD.
It is
It's
so
too
tough.
early for that.
Like,
It is.
Even 3 years in, 5 years in, it's hard to say, particularly at the quarterback position, and they're so young. It's just really tough. CJ Stroud is an anomaly. He had the best rookie season of a quarterback ever, and now because of it's recent in fresh people's minds, it's going to be the standard in which all first round quarterbacks.
It should be the standard.
There's no way it can be. You cannot have the exception to the rule be the rule. It's not how it works. So let's see. And then you had Trayvon Walker the year before. The year before that was Trevor Lawrence. Year before that was Joe Burrow. Year before that was Kyler Murray. Year before that was The Bake Show. Year before that was Myles Garrett. Year before that was Jared Goff. Year before that was Jameis Winston. Year before that was Jadeveon Clowney. Year before that was Eric Fisher. Year before that, Andrew Luck. Year before that, Cam Newton.
Be hard pressed to find someone.
Year before that, Sam Bradford. Year before that, Matt Stafford. Year before that, Jake Long. Wow, he went first, Jake Long, to the Dolphins tackle. I don't remember him being the first round pick or number one pick. Year before that was your boy Jamarcus Russell. Year before that, Mario Williams. Mario Williams was
career.
Remember when he went first and everyone couldn't believe it wasn't Reggie Bush. Year before that, Alex Smith. Year before that, your boy Eli. Year before that, Carson Palmer. Boy, it's the quarterback so often. Year before that, David Carr. Year before that, Mike Vick. Year before that, Courtney Brown. Year before that, the expansion Cleveland Browns took Tim Couch. Year before that, Peyton Manning. Year before that, Orlando Pace, 2 Hall of Famers. First time we've been a Hall of Famer so far. Year before that, Keyshawn Johnson. Oh, wide receiver. Oh, that's wild. Year before that, Kajana Carter.
That was running backs. That was the last running back.
Penn State running back. The Bengals traded up to get him too, and he was an immediate non-factor in the NFL. Year before that, Dan Wilkinson. Year before that, Drew Bledsoe. Year before that, Steve Emptman, defensive end for Washington. From Washington to the Colts. Year before that, Russell Maryland. Year before that, Jeff George, Illinois quarterback. Oh man!
So we got Pace in that span that you said, Orlando Pace and
Peyton Manning,
and future Eli Manning. But we'll just say for right now, Peyton Manning
and 1989 Troy Aikman. So there you go.
Okay, there you go. So in the last 30 years,
yes,
2 Hall of
35
Famers
years,
and the number 1 pick.
3 Hall of Famers in 35 years.
And there's a bunch of Hall of Famers littered probably directly underneath them.
Always. But if you look though, it's mostly quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that's the hardest position to judge. One of the hardest positions to judge. That's why I don't like the moving up to get a quarterback, especially when you don't know what they're going to do. So like we said, so much goes into that quarterback position. If the environment is not correct, they may never be good. And now that you are giving the quarterback only 2.5 years to showcase it with his talent, it's hard. You go into a system, you don't have the players. You're on a short leash. Bryce Young, he's on the clock now to be good.
Unfortunately, yes.
If he's not good this next year, you might as well just say he's done. And that's
which is
unfortunate.
ridiculous. Yeah, Wh-
It's
and he'll be good
ridiculous.
somewhere else. I like that.
You
That
hope. You
Panthers
hope.
team was abysmal. They were so bad.
Horrible.
They were so
Horrible.
bad. They were their level of bad was reflective of where they drafted, even though they traded up 9 spots to get there. They were a 7-win team the year before, and they
Yeah.
regressed to a 2-win team. Were they 2-15
Well,
last year?
that-
It's just it's insane how bad they were.
but they got rid of
Well, that's
everyone.
true. I know.
That team that was 7 wins had Christian McCaffrey for half a
Yep.
season. It had DJ Moore for an entire
Yep.
season. It had other players like on defense. They just gutted that entire team for
And they brought
nothing.
in Adam Thielen. But now if you're going to draft a first round quarterback, taking one at number
Mhm.
1 is more times than not good.
The better option?
So even the ones that we have Aikman, but they have Jeff George, who ultimately
Had a good career.
he
had
was
some-
all right.
had
Never made a Pro Bowl, but he was
years.
all right.
Yeah, he had some good
Right?
years.
And
Okay.
then you have Drew Bledsoe. I always thought he was a solid
Mhm.
quarterback.
Solid point.
Pro Bowler, Super Bowl
solid. I give him
champion.
that. I'd
Yeah.
take him. I'd take him. I'd build the team around him. He just an unfortunate career with some injuries later on when he should have
Yep.
been. Yeah,
Peyton Manning,
I'd take him. Oh, of
Of
course.
Tim Couch.
Eh, eh.
Yeah,
Okay career. He was an okay. He had a solid, I think a solid career that would never happen nowadays because he wouldn't get the chance.
yeah. He only played eight seasons.
Mhm.
4 for the Cleveland Browns, 1 for the Packers. Then he was out of the league for a couple of years, or was hurt for a couple of years. He just injuries, and he was on the Browns.
some
Like,
ba-
what are you
uh-huh.
gonna do?
Yep.
Mike Vick.
Of
course,
course,
yeah.
I'd take him. Of course.
David Carr. Unfortunate. I think that
Unfortunate. And that's a bad
that's a very
situation.
bad
That's a bad situation as well.
that Texans.
Because yeah, he might have had some talent. We didn't get to see that. We got to see him running away.
He got sacked more than like any human on the face of the earth has ever been sacked. Carson Palmer the next year.
Yes,
Good pick, great pick. Eli Manning.
Very
the
good
next year.
pick. Good
Good
pick.
pick, great pick, right? And that's
Great
all.
pick, yes.
That's a draft that has 2 Hall of Famers in it because I think what's his
3 if you want to consider Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I do consider. Oh yeah, because of Big Ben too. Yeah,
Ben Roethlisberger's in there.
I forgot about Roethlisberger, right? So there's 3. There's 3 Hall of Famers in that draft class. 3 Hall of Famers that went in the top.
Yeah.
In the first round. Next season, Alex
Mhm.
Smith.
Great career.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then you have Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. No, that's nice.
That's
That's
an unfortunate one, right,
that's-
there, right? Then you have Matt Stafford,
Uh-huh.
Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
Sam Bradford.
Bad Lions. Sam Bradford. Good.
No, he was too
No.
injury riddled to do anything. Then you have Cam Newton the next year.
Good.
Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Build a team around him. Pro
MVP,
Bowler, All Pro.
right?
Yeah. MVP. Yeah.
Andrew Luck.
Dude, you'd pick him
Yeah,
again.
how do you not?
Regardless of everything again, I'd pick him again.
Jameis Winston.
I like Jameis, but I probably wouldn't pick him.
That is a tough one because I think there's another quarterback that win that draft in the first round, and I'm going to look and see it right now. Oh, maybe not. Well, I mean, Marcus Mariota went 2.
I wouldn't pick him.
Is that the draft? No other quarterbacks went in the first round. No other quarterbacks went in the second round.
And I don't know how you don't pick Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Like done again at the college career that he had.
For sure.
Yeah, you pick
But
him.
like if you're going quarterback, he's the number 1 pick, right?
He's the number 1
For
pick.
sure.
Mhm. And he had some talent. Like he could throw the ball. He had some talent.
he
I
can
don't know
still throw
what
a
his
ball.
problem is.
Right?
He can still
The
throw
only
the
other
ball.
quarterback besides
I just don't want to build a team around him.
Mariota who was he? I don't even know if Mariota was in the league last year. That was still in the league is Trevor Siemian. He was went in the sixth round that year. Okay, so
Yeah,
that was Jameis Winston. Next year was Jared Goff.
yeah, solid.
Then you had the Bake Show in
He would,
2018.
yeah, he's looking for a job. Apparently,
You know,
they're releasing him. I think,
yeah.
believe.
Then the next year you had Kyler.
Yeah.
The next year you have Joe Burrow. Then the
Yes.
next year you have Trevor Lawrence.
To be
Hold on.
TBD.
Now, here's the other quarterbacks in the draft, though, right? So in the first round, you have Trevor Lawrence, you have Zach Wilson, you have Trey Lance, you have Mac Jones, you have Justin Fields, you have that was all the first round. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going quarterback, you're sitting at number 1. You need a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is your pick. He's been a Pro Bowler. Took him to the playoffs. They won a playoff game.
He's the only one of the group that you could say that for.
And then you have Bryce Young last year, right? Which, if we're only going off of one season, is the wrong pick. But it's only one season. But boy, his situation is terrible. Like of all the, like usually when you're the number 1 pick, you're going to a team that is bad. That is crazy bad.
Yes.
But
the thing is that's crazy about him, they didn't earn that pick.
They traded for it.
So they weren't that bad.
But then they
like when
became
you think of it,
they're like, well, I guess we gotta.
Became that bad.
But I mean,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense. How would you do that?
I don't know.
How would you do that?
Well, I mean, it's the ownership. It's that whole fiasco that is the Panthers, right?
The Panthers.
They gave up all that capital to move up to 1, which now becomes this draft standard. That's the part I love about it, right? Because every other draft, if somebody is in the number 1 spot that doesn't want to be there and there's a quarterback, the Bryce Young deal is the standard now. That's the gold standard for determining what you're going to have to give up to move. And everything will be based upon how good is Bryce Young, right? So if Bryce Young turns out to be a good quarterback, then you're just like, okay, well, I mean, that's what. But if Bryce Young turns out to be a not good quarterback, everybody's sitting out there at the top. It's going to be like, all right, yeah, I'm willing to deal. What are you going to give me? Because look what was given up for Bryce Young. Right?
You have to. Like like I said, I don't like giving up that much for that, especially in this year when. Okay, so I'm looking at the draft of Trevor Lawrence. 3 quarterbacks went 1, 2, and 3. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. You could argue that you wanted to be the guy that got Trevor Lawrence and didn't want to get those other guys. You could that argument can be made. But Justin Fields was at 11. And I still don't think the jury's out on Justin Fields just yet. I think he's definitely better than Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, because we haven't seen any Trey Lance, but we've seen. And Mac Jones, yep. Even Mac Jones got a Pro Bowl, but I always say that's a. Yeah,
but now that's a weird draft though, and here's why: because it's coming off the COVID year, so there was no combine.
Yeah,
there was no combine. There was no. It was an abbreviated season. Not everyone played, like Trey Lance, right?
You're really going off of the stuff that they did.
You're going off of pure tape.
2 years ago,
pure tape and Zoom interviews, and that's what you had, right? So it was a weird draft. So it's one of those like when it happens, like if you got a hit in the first round, you're like, hey, good job, and if you got a bust, you're like, hey, what are you gonna do? All right, and like it was just.
What what's crazy? I'm looking at that draft. It's a solid draft, but except for those quarterbacks,
the quarterbacks up top, yeah.
Well, and Kyle Pitts at 4. That's not good. But Jamar Chase at 5,
Kyle Pitts
Wade Waddle at 6.
Kyle Pitts is not the problem with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. the problem with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta is now the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like you got Trevor Lawrence, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell.
Yep. J.C. Horn, cornerback, or the Saints.
Patrick Surtain.
Was it Saints now?
No, he's a Panther.
Oh, it's Carolina, Panther. Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, Justin
Michael
Fields, Michael
Parsons, Rashawn
Parsons.
Slater. These are all good picks.
Yeah, except for Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and maybe Kyle Pitts. We
Yeah,
don't know. We
top
still
of the
haven't
draft
seen
is tough,
anything of Kyle Pitts.
right? But but all those teams were in quarterback needing mode. Every one of them, and the San Francisco gave up a ton to get up there.
They gave way too much to get to three.
Yes, they moved from what 12 to 3 or whatever, or
Way
13 to
too
3.
much to get to
Like,
three.
just give up a ton.
And y'all just gave up first round for next year to move up to 10 to 11.
From 20 though.
Yeah.
So the Bears were at 20. That's moving up 10 picks, right? To get a quarterback. So the quarterback makes it a more valuable trade already, right?
Yeah.
So the positional value of what you're trading up for increases the price. The Bears gave up
because you want to be in the fourth pick in the draft.
They
was it was fourth,
yeah.
right? Or was it 3?
What's that? Oh, the next year?
It was because it wanted to be in Kayvon Thibodeau for us.
Yeah, it was like the 4th pick, I think, or the 5th pick.
I think it was the 4th pick. So
yeah.
But don't worry, because with our 20 pick, we got Kadarius Toney. So thanks for that, guys.
Well, I mean, shoot. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you don't know, whatever. Like, what's going to happen? And you look around, what the Giants had to pick from there. Christian Darrisaw maybe would have been a good offensive tackle to have.
Micah Parsons went next.
Not at 20. Oh, up at 11? Yes. Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, 20. We had traded back. I think again. Did we get? I thought we traded back multiple times.
20 was what the Bears gave you.
20 was what y'all had. Okay.
I'm looking at it. I'm just scrolling down. Like even, I think the Rashad Bateman went as a wide receiver after that. Who cares? He's always hurt. Elijah Moore. Who cares?
Yeah, because we needed a wide receiver. So
yeah, there isn't a wide receiver in the next 2 rounds.
Rondell Moore went to Arizona.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Nico Collins maybe in the 3rd round.
He's playing good.
But I mean, that's it.
Yeah, no, we still need running. We still need wide receivers.
Yeah.
So
yes, you do.
And this year we have the 6th pick. 6th pick.
We have number 6
this year. And the question is, are we going to spend it on a quarterback or move up? Which, no, we're not moving up. We're going to stick. I think it's too early to abandon the strategy that the team had.
Which is?
Last year.
What's the strategy?
Whatever the strategy they had, it involved Daniel Jones. Right? Whatever the strategy they had involved Daniel Jones. And I didn't hate the moves that they made the offseason. They, for whatever reason, didn't work. And I think the whatever reason didn't work is Mike Kafka. That's just my belief. The Giants, without Daniel Jones, ran a totally different offense than they ran with Daniel Jones. And I like the offense that they ran with Tommy Cutlets and Tyrod Taylor. I like that offense. They threw the ball downfield. I don't know. I don't know why they changed the offense from a very ultra conservative offense with your quarterback that you're paying $160 million to, and just let Tommy Cutlets and Tyrod Taylor just sling that ball.
I don't understand it either.
Downfield. It doesn't make sense. And so I think if their plan was revolved around Daniel Jones, let's get him some wide receiver talent. Let's build an offensive line, which is still a work in progress, and figure out what we can do. They went and got Darren Waller, who is a injury-prone tight end, but still a solid, good tight end when he could play. Just did not work out. I don't think you could just take half a season and say, all right, it failed. We're just going to throw it away. So I just think the people saying get a quarterback Because what we'd have to do now, if a quarterback falls into our laps at
that's
six,
my
which I
next
don't see,
question. What if Jaden Daniels falls to 6?
you take
Oh
him.
God, yeah, you have to. Like you,
If a quarterback is still sitting there at 6 for us that we have high up that we would have traded up to get, except for number one, but any one of those guys that we might have traded up, if we can get a top 3 quarterback at 6, yeah, you take the
what
quarterback.
if?
But I don't want to move up for
What
him.
if there is a quarterback sitting there at 6, and that quarterback's name is national champion J.J. McCarthy from the
No,
University of Michigan? Now, the only reason I
no,
bring this up is
no.
because there is a lot of chatter amongst the connected draftniks, right? The ones that report for
Mm-hmm.
NFL.com and ESPN and stuff like that say, now who knows where this information comes from, but JJ McCarthy is shooting up the boards of several GMs and teams as they get ready for the combine.
I trust the guys there. I hate the combine. I hate
I
the
love the combine.
combine, right? I'm gonna tell you why I hate it. I hate it in terms of a skill
Oh shit,
evaluator,
yeah, yeah.
right? Imagine someone told you what the test was going to be 3 months before you took
Mm-hmm.
the test, right? You are going to study and
Mm-hmm.
practice for the
Oh, they do.
test. You'd be dumb
Yeah.
not to. Yeah, exactly. From the minute college football season ended, for most of these people, it was in December.
Mm-hmm.
They have been practicing for the
Yep.
combine.
Yep.
That's it. To look as good as they can. And the ones that don't go to the combine, gonna do it at their
Yep.
pro day, right? And that's even more crazy because that's your own bubble, right? The drills that you run are the ones that you decided
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna run. So what I see at the combine never impresses me, except for speed and strength. I'm not gonna lie. Speed and strength always get you, and that's what gets you every time. That's why John Ross was a top 10 pick
That's why Anthony
in
Richardson,
an
people were
NFL
creaming their
draft.
jeans over Anthony Richardson last year because he had like a 90-inch vertical leap. And it wasn't 90, but it was huge, right? Uh,
Yes.
I like the combine not as he's a good football player. There's not a single GM or scout that is going to the combine and saying, "Oh, you ran a 4.34 instead of a 4.42 in the 40. You're our guy." No, that doesn't happen. Nobody is being surprised at the combine by somebody's skill. Not in the NFL.
I think they
I
are.
don't think they are. I
Like,
think
because like I said, I think John Ross, when he ran the fastest or the second fastest time in combine history, it shot him to the first round. He did not have first round projection
okay. So
anytime. But when they see that kind of speed, somebody's going to take you.
there's GMs that do dumb things. There always are, right?
He did go to the Bengals, so
So like there are those, but I don't think now it might put somebody on somebody's radar. Be like, who's that again?
Mhm.
Okay, because you're a GM, you don't know all 400 people that are going into the draft eligible, right? There's just no way you can know them. That's why you have scouting
You
teams of
should.
like 30 people, right? That's why your draft room has 30 people all making their cases for people. But there isn't a GM that's going to, especially if you're at the top of the draft. If you're at the top of the draft, you're not going in there and be like, oh, wait a minute, who's this young buck out there doing silly things? No, everybody's got ideas, and they're there.
Mhm.
The biggest reason they're there is for the interview purposes. So because you get your
Yes.
5 minutes to sit down one on one with these kids and just see how they think and how they communicate and like what comes out of their mouths.
But to me that's fake. They've been schooled by agents.
Oh, for sure.
They've been prepped by coaches on what to do and what to say. Like, it's just like I don't know. You have to do your scouting way before the
They do.
combine.
Yeah.
The combine is almost just for
Oh, it is
us.
100%.
It's not for
Yeah,
them.
the combine
Like, you know what I'm
is
saying?
so we can see it And so NFL Network can have Rich Eisen go out there run his 40-yard dash for St. Jude's. Like
Yep.
that's what it's for. It is a huge spectacle. It's an event. NFL uses it to keep the NFL chatter up throughout because it's February.
Hmm.
What are we people going to talk about? NBA and hockey? No, we got to talk about spring
Spring
training. We
training is
can't talk
coming
about
up.
that. We got to talk about the NFL, right? So I get that. I get why it exists. I think I don't think anybody's needles get moved, but I do think that interview process is important, and I think that's where things get narrowed down from there because then you get like 30 visits or whatever. Like you can have like 20 people come to your
Mhm.
the you know top 30 pick or whatever 30 visits. You have all that stuff. I think that's just all part of the process. Like I don't think anybody's coming out of the combine that isn't like somebody like us that says, oh, that's the guy right there.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the combine. I think it artificially boosts people because of what the media does to them. That's how people like a Mitch Trubisky could get thrown up there in the
Mm-hmm.
mix. That's how the Trey Lances could get thrown in the mix. That people we've seen, we like most of the people who follow those guys, they've seen them play for two,
Mm-hmm.
3 years, right? They're not gonna be surprised by what they
Mm.
see. Like, so when the Giants go against Daniel Jones, and I'm like, who are you, Daniel Jones? Why are you not getting Haskins, who was a 50 touchdown guy in Ohio State? Why are we getting this guy? Like, it's a little weird, but man, it turned out to not be bad. But I'm just saying, like,
Jury's still out on that too. So Daniel Jones is a $47 million cap hit this year. Just a reminder. Possible
mm-hmm.
out after next year with only 22 million in
Got him
dead
next
cap.
year.
Like
Mm-hmm.
unless he balls out, he's not going to be a
You don't
Giant in
see how
2025. There's just no way. He's got to ball. He's got to ball
that's
the
not
fuck out.
no,
He
no,
has to.
because all right. So let's say that they're okay. I can see that, but they didn't have to pick a quarterback in the
Yeah,
draft, and they're one of those teams that are now have to. And unless they're really bad, it's gonna cost you.
their sixth pick bad this year.
Yeah, but that quarterback that they just spent all that money missed half the season.
He wasn't lighting up
He
before
missed
that though.
but that's the first half of the season was the toughest part of the schedule. Playing the San Franciscos, the Dallases, the
You got to
like
play
that was
Dallas
a
both. You
tough
got to play Dallas
run.
twice, right? And you got to play the Eagles twice.
We played Dallas twice in that run. We played San Francisco. We played Buffalo. We played Miami. Like that was our tough
Mm-hmm.
run. And then the run with Tyrod Taylor coming, which was always the thing. I always knew those first games were going to be difficult, right? And I figured that the second half of the schedule would get a little
Mm-hmm.
bit better. It did, and I think had we had DJ in some of those situations, our record would look a little bit better. Do I think we were that good of a team? No, but I think our record would have been better. We would have beaten the Saints probably. We would have beaten. We did beat the Packers. The Rams beat the brakes off us. I didn't expect that, but there was the Seahawks would have been a better game. Like with Daniel there instead of what we had, I think those were winnable games that we should have taken advantage of. And I think the Jets game was one of those games as well that we should have won. We were winning most of that game, and then it got crazy at the end. But I think if Daniel's there, DJ's there, we win that game. So, like I said, tough schedule. He gets hurt. We still pull out 5-6 games. So I think if we stink again, and our stink means we have to win less than 6 games, which if you look at our schedule, it's possible. It's a tough schedule. If we win less than 6 games, you're right. He's got to go, and they got to find a way to move up in the draft to get him, to get a quarterback. But if we're hovering around that 8 win, 9 win season, what do you do? You just drop him, and you got him for $22 million the next year as a cap hit. Yeah, you can drop him, but
The,
you already paid it.
yeah,
You got to pay him.
the
So
hard part with Daniel Jones is his money is not reflective of his production. right? And but
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 that's a
the
lot of
but the money is what
quarterbacks.
you
There's a
have to
lot
pay a
of that.
quarterback, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, and I could be wrong, but in my mind, coming hit the being a $41 million cap hit the next year, and then a $58 million cap hit the following year. You got to be good. You got to be really good for that, because otherwise, if your numbers are replaceable,
Mm-hmm.
then replace them at cheaper.
Why didn't
Yeah,
replace him?
replace them cheaper, and that's where I'm at with, and unfortunately, that's the reality of the Bears and having the number one pick, and what they're more than likely going to do, which is draft Caleb Williams and trade Justin Fields.
Just
And
ugh.
and and I don't even think it's a reflection of they think Justin Fields is a bad quarterback. And I don't think it's now. If you talk to fans, it's like they'll pull up every fucking number on the face of the earth to prove a point in one direction or the other. I think if they didn't have
But
the
what?
number one pick, they would still have Justin Fields.
They still. But then you're saying that the numbers are replaceable. You're saying that you believe that Caleb Williams coming out his rookie year is going to have as good of a season as a guy who's been in the league 2-3 years, who knows the system a little bit better,
There,
and has a chance and has gotten better in
mm-hmm,
that system,
it's
and
possible.
will probably be better. It will probably be better this year. You're saying that Caleb can come in and just replace the production. I don't see that
Now,
happening.
here's the thing:
I just don't. Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields statistically, like every measurable number, is bottom third in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's replaceable. It's 100% replaceable. Like from
But from a rookie, someone who could probably he could probably be bottom
Bryce Young
third
had more
just
passing
as
yards than
easy.
Justin Fields last year, right?
Bryce Young, he'll had what's name had more wins than
Yeah,
him.
wins aren't a quarterback stat,
They're not.
right? And
They're
and
not. He
and and that and that Carolina
probably had
team was
more rushing
terrible. That
touchdowns.
Carolina team was terrible. So the Bears even got wins out of Tyson Bagent last year, right? And not like Tyson Bagent wasn't very good. Justin Fields was not. Justin Fields flashes mask the consistent underperforming, right? And this is and I think Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. And I think you have to hit some guys take time, and I think you need to have that time. But I think because they have the number one pick, it affords them the opportunity to take the best quarterback in the draft, which has proven to be the right choice more times than not when drafting, right? At the
Mm-hmm.
most important position in football. And then because Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback, it's not like they're trading Matt Rosen. It's not like they're dumping, whoever. They still have still has trade value. I don't know what that trade value is yet. We don't know what it'll be until it happens. But there is trade
Mm-hmm.
value there, right? Because you still have 2 more years of control of an ascending quarterback who is a freak of an athlete that could potentially lead a team uh, on the cusp, right? Could do it.
I'm looking at his numbers. They're all better than the previous year that
Oh
he
yeah,
was
every
there.
year he's gotten better every year, 100%, right?
And his interceptions is going down. His touchdowns stayed pretty much the same. Um, his fumbles went down. His rushing yards did go down. He played two less games than he played
Sure,
before. Like,
I'm there.
and that's probably I just
I, I,
but what I'm trying to say is I don't know if Caleb Williams comes in and does any
you don't
better.
you don't know that, but what you're if you are drafting a player to replace a player, right? Particularly in this situation, you are saying,
Mhm.
and I think it's not necessarily immediate, but you're saying in 2 years is Caleb Williams going to be better than Justin Fields in 2 years? Because that's when they have to make a contract decision. Because Justin Fields,
Mhm.
if they keep Justin Fields, then they definitely take the 5th year option. right? Because they're not going to pull a Daniel
Yep.
Jones in the New York Giants. They're going to take the fifth-year option. So they would have 2 full years of control, relatively cheap at a position of importance, right? With a guy who's a freak of an athlete who has gotten better every year, but has consistently been bottom third of the NFL in quarterback statistics and production. And even if you do the advanced metrics, the EPA or the negative result plays, like it's real high. It's real high on all these things, right? And it's unfair to compare him to guys like Mahomes because Mahomes is like the best at all of these things. So you even like middle of the road, he doesn't match well against middle of the road, and historically doesn't match well against other quarterbacks progression wise, right? I'll find he terrible situation in Chicago. It's only because they have the first pick that they will make this move, and
But
I don't think it's like an easy decision. It's not like, hey, hit the road, Jack, because they like this dude. He's the face of the franchise, and that's it.
it,
It's just the nature of the beast in which is the NFL and how you got to build a team.
and I get
Hmm.
that, but my thing is, I wish if he was Daniel Daniel Jones'
Hmm.
position, he's been in the league 6 years, right? Probably you like him, but I've got the number one
Hmm.
pick, right? I can see that. A guy's been around for a while. You've seen him. You know where his ceiling is probably, you know everything. I get that, right? I I'm probably one more year from now, I'm going away from him, right? Justin Fields is in year 3. You've got him for 2 more years. This is year 4. This will be
Hmm.
year 4. You got him for 2 more years
Hmm.
solidly.
Agree.
Still relatively
Agreed.
cheap. Still relatively cheap. If you trade that pick, the bevy of picks that you will
Oh, I know.
get, and if you want to, you can use those picks in any time in the next 2 years to go back to number one or the top 2 or top 3 to get a quarterback of your liking.
Maybe.
That is almost assured. If you are a bad team, like I don't think that whoever goes and gets Caleb Williams, one of these bad teams, are automatically
Oh
going to
no.
be good. I think the pick that you take from them next year will probably also be a top 5. And if you are not good, you will still be in the top
Yeah, which
5.
which you don't
You
want to
can
be.
package but that's what I'm saying. But if Justin Fields turns out next year and he is not what you think, you've got the picks to be in the same position you are now. 1 year and you've assured it, and it's cost you almost nothing. It's cost you almost nothing
Oh
to
no,
do
I
that
I, I agree.
because that's why I just think that by saying that you're saying that you think Caleb Williams is a better player than Justin Fields. That's what you're
Hmm.
saying. If you truly believe that Caleb Williams is a better player than Justin Fields is,
Oh,
sure, make the deal.
and
I
that's why I
don't
think they'll
I
do
don't
that.
know that.
If they're making the move, right, for all that stuff you say makes sense, right? Because if you do get those picks and you're getting forward picks, and you always if you always have multiple first round picks, you always have options, right?
You've got it. Yes.
The thing about this quarterback draft class is, and I know it feels like it gets said every year, right? And I'm not going to use the G word because I hate the G word because it never applies to anybody. It's applied once, and his name was Peyton Manning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then maybe once before that, and his name was John Elway, and those were like the only two, right? And John
Mm-hmm.
Elway wasn't even the best quarterback of his generation. He was just that talent, right?
Yeah, the winner.
So if you do that, and this is another thing I've seen a lot of the ranking of quarterbacks from the last 10 drafts or whatever, from a pure prospect position, Caleb Williams is always number 1 or number 2, trading spots with Trevor Lawrence, and always from prospect position above Joe Burrow, above. And what surprised me is Bryce Young. I saw one that had Bryce Young ranked as like number 6, like the 6th best quarterback prospect of the last 10 years or whatever, which is probably 100% accurate, right? Because it's all
Mm-hmm.
pure prospect. You're saying Caleb Williams' floor is higher than Justin Fields' floor because we know what Justin Fields has
Mm-hmm.
produced, right? Will he produce more in a new system? Possibly. Will he be better? Possibly he's be more mature. Will he ever will things click for him this year? We don't know. But from a pure passer perspective, Caleb Williams' floor is definitely higher than Justin Fields' floor. And Caleb Williams should be able to produce the same numbers as Justin Fields from a passing perspective that he has
Mhm.
in the previous years because Justin Fields has consistently been bottom third, if not bottom of the NFL in certain statistics.
But wouldn't that have to do with the what they did in college? You'd have to look at the
Caleb Williams
person
was a
that
better
we
passer
saw,
than Justin Fields in college too.
but the quarterback we saw Justin Fields in college does not look like the quarterback we see in Chicago Bears.
He's a lot of the same. So I saw another statistic too, and I didn't realize this. In college, Justin Fields only had I don't even know if it's half a dozen 300-yard passing games, right? And he only averaged two something a game, right? So like that low two area, which he does not do in the NFL. He does not average because if you average 240, I think you get 4,000 yards, right? He hasn't even eclipsed 3,000 yards yet. So when we're talking about Mitch Trubisky's Phantom Menace season of Darth Maul is better than any passing season that Justin Fields has had.
Justin Fields in his Ohio
Mm-hmm.
State 2019 had in 14 games 3,273 yards and 41
Okay.
touchdowns. And the next year he had eight. He played six less games, and that was the COVID year. And had was it COVID
Yes.
2020? Yeah, and had 2,100. He was on pace to have a better
Mm-hmm.
year than the year. So his passing numbers were actually pretty good. His
It.
percentages, completion percentage was over 70%.
Mm-hmm.
Like his passing yards were he was a better passer. Now, of course, he's not playing in a USC system with Lincoln Riley as his
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, which is what I think, and this is why I think I'm not too high on Caleb Williams, is because of the Lincoln Riley
Mm-hmm.
system. I think it's going. I think Lincoln Riley puts his quarterbacks in the best position to look as good as they can to get drafted.
I think Lincoln Riley produces the most non NFL uh, ready system in because
They look good
and
though.
it's
They definitely
all
look good.
predicated on slow developing long distance chunk plays. And I just I'm not even gonna I don't even give a rat's ass about Lincoln Riley or I just think from and this is if Caleb Williams is the Bears' choice. If the Bears don't feel a quarterback is the right go, then I get it. That's fine. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams or if it's Drake May or if it's even Jaden Daniels, then we still have those options where they can move out of one and still get their guy and still get picks, right? Because we know the Commanders want the number one position, right? I don't know what they'll give
Yes.
up. Like doing that one spot move is stupid, but doing that one spot move to the number one so you can get your guy, there's lots of different things that go with it, right? So if the Bears do that move and they get a quarterback that they want, I get it. That's fine. I have no problems with that. I really don't have a problem with it because and the thing is, I love Justin Fields. He's like my favorite Bear that's existed in a very long time, and I'm going to be very sad when he's gone. But I do. If you ask me to bet on it right now, I would bet that he is not a Bear come draft night.
It's
I just
possible.
don't think
I
it's
think that
happening.
would be.
And I don't, and it's not because I want it to be that way. I just think that's what's going to be the case. So,
I had to go back and see his quarterbacks. I had to go back and see Riley's quarterbacks. Baker, Kyler, Jalen Hurts. Um, then he had Stidham, but not Stidham. Who was this guy? Uh, Spencer
mm-hmm.
Rattler, and then he had Caleb Williams. Like I said, I really think it's just I think it's that system. They look good. They look really
But all
good.
those guys you just said were good
But
quarterbacks, good
Baker,
NFL quarterbacks, and they've all had better passing years in their worst year than Justin Fields' best passing year as a quarterback.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like I,
Ah,
I hate I hate that that's the situation because I think that he's a guy that just needs time. And when they
I
drafted
think he
him,
just needs an offensive
they need a
coordinator.
decent coordinator, they need a decent system, they need weapons. That just like every quarterback needs, and he needs time. And some guys just take time. And when Justin Fields was drafted, everybody wanted to start. And I remember uh, Matt Nagy is like, well, he's just not ready to start yet. Like, oh, you're throwing Andy Dalton out there. He can't be worse than Andy Dalton. Well, he was worse than Andy
He
Dalton, right?
couldn't.
And that's part of the problem. But Justin Fields had those crazy flashes where remember that rookie year he had a run against the 49ers. They were down in the red zone and he avoided like 17 different sacks and then ran in for the touchdown. You're like, that's what we want. That's Justin Fields.
Yeah,
That's what. And then the next year he had like 10 of those sorts of runs, and they were like for
yeah.
60+ yards apiece,
He ran
and
for like 10 touchdowns and
you're
1,100
like, oh my
yards.
god, but he couldn't throw the ball consistently enough. He could throw the ball well at times, and sometimes he'd throw a dot, and you're like, how did he do that? How did he just throw that dot? He hasn't thrown anything like that all year.
I I would take that in a
I
heartbeat. A guy
know
who
that's the
runs for
thing.
1,100
But
yards,
I
10
don't want him
touchdowns.
to go.
He will get better. He
You would
will
think
get better.
that's the thing. Like
Yes, he's gonna get
I
better.
agree,
Let him.
but
Let him.
I think there's just this. It's just going to happen just because, and I don't think it's because of this stupid rookie quarterback clock, and I don't think it's the paying thing. I think it's in 2 years when you have to make that decision on Justin Fields because you're not going to. The only way you would whatchamacallit, franchise tag him is if he is a top 10 quarterback. And if he's a top 10 quarterback, then you're just like, okay, that's fine. We'll figure out how to pay him. But what you have to see is he going to be a top 10 quarterback in 2 years? And I just don't know if that's going to be the case.
I wouldn't. I'm not
No,
betting
exactly. But
that.
that's where you need
I'm
him to
not-
be. And if he's not going to be that, then you're better off with a high floor, high ceiling, top of the draft quarterback.
All right, so I had to look it up. I had to look this up because when I said 1,100 yards and 10
Oh, he had an amazing
touchdowns,
year running the ball that
it
year.
it was giving me Mike Vick
Oh, sure,
vibes,
sure.
right? Just so I looked up Mike Vick's first 6 yard years in
Oh,
the
they're
league
not good.
passing the
Yeah,
ball.
they're not good.
Fields is hands down
Oh,
better
yeah,
passer than Mike Vick
for
was.
sure.
But Mike Vick got better
Yeah,
though. Mike Vick became a better passer. You were able to live with him being a Pro Bowler for 3 years with astronomical rushing yards and mediocre
for sure,
passing yards. And his team still won
for sure.
games.
Well, that's another thing with the Bears. They
Uh,
haven't won games either.
But that once again, that's
Yeah,
not
it's
what I'm saying is I think he has the
mhm,
talent to
for
grow.
sure.
He's already shown that he can be a guy that gets you 700-800 yards rushing a
I'm,
year,
I'm,
7-8 rushing
dude.
touchdowns,
I'm not
plus
arguing
the
against Justin Fields.
3,000 yards passing. Like he can get 3,000. He will get to 3,000 yards passing, 35, 3,300. Just has to give him the time. And I know I'm arguing with you, and you're like, I
Yeah,
love Justin
listen.
Fields.
I am in this position.
I think you're just making peace. I think you've made peace with
It is.
yourself that you don't think Justin Fields is gonna be there, and because he should. You know he
It.
should.
I want him to be, but listen. If the Bears, and I am fine. I've always been fine with your decision. Do I prefer Justin Fields to the field? Yes, I do. Because and this is more heartstring than anything else because he's my guy, right? This is the guy that had. I want to see him be a Bear for his career, and I want him to be victorious as a Chicago Bear,
That's how I feel about
right?
Saquon
Like I
Barkley.
want that.
That's
But
how I feel about
here's the
Saquon
thing.
Barkley.
And this I don't think this is unique to the Bears, but I think it's unique to the Bears in the fact that the Bears are a historic franchise, an original 5 or 10 or whatever they are. They've been around for 100+ years. They've never been successful in the quarterback position. When Jay Cutler, who I love too, I remember
Mm-hmm.
in our long running Skype chat or it turns like I believe I said at one time Jay Cutler is one of my favorite Bears, and and a member of that chat said you're insane. And I said no, I'm not. He just is. For me he ranked up there with the guys from '85 I love. Walter Payton does. He just fell.
That is a high bar to set for someone
Listen,
like
but if you like a guy, if you're just like, oh God, this is the guy
correct,
that he
correct.
just
Yeah, you like him or whether
it doesn't.
anyone
It's
else likes
irrational. It's
him, it
100%
doesn't matter.
irrational.
Doesn't make a
Was
difference.
Jay Cutler the best quarterback ever? No. Was he the best Bears quarterback ever? Unfortunately, yes. And that's
Yes.
historic, right? Like that team has been historically bad at that position. So when they got Justin Fields, it's like, oh, they finally got a guy at this position, and he's going to be successful. And God damn it, I want him. I will die. I will go down on that ship waiting for him to be successful. And that's the truth.
He should. And oh man, if I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm saying if the Bears get rid of
He's
Justin
going to be a Pro
Fields,
Bowler the next year.
he's gonna be
You know it.
great.
Yes, I know.
Because that would be another bad quarterback move that the Bears.
Unless Caleb Williams is great.
Knowing the Bears'
But here's the
history,
thing,
then
though, right?
he's
Like,
not going
but
to be.
that's true
That does me
if
know.
if the same people that have been running the Bears from a player development standpoint are the same ones that have been there for the last 100 years. They're not, right? Like, so that's like think about it. Like the Bengals were always bad at drafting quarterbacks until they weren't, right?
No, yeah, drafting quarterbacks because they traded for
I mean, and
Boomer.
they had Carson
Oh,
Palmer, but
yeah.
like, so they had a
They've had some time. Andy Dalton's not bad either.
but Andy Dalton was like a fourth or fifth rounder, right? But like
Yeah.
teams are bad at things until they're not, right? Like the current front office, this is their third year, is so different than every previous front office they've ever had. Like you just know, like the decision process is way different, right? Like the guy before him, Ryan Pace, came from that Saints school of building a team where we backload every contract, we go after names, we're building a fantasy franchise team. All right.
Yeah.
Where Ryan Poles comes from Kansas City, and that mentality, and he brings a very statistics and analytics driven. He comes from a scouting background. You know, like there's lots of things that are associated with it, and their decision making process is so much different, and you could tell it's different because of last year. If the Bears having the first overall pick, even with Justin Fields being after his second year, the previous regime would have drafted Bryce Young, right? And then probably kept Bryce Young and Justin Fields on the same team, and then let them fight it out to determine who's the best quarterback, right? And then the Bears last year, they traded down, they took a freaking right tackle at number 9, right? Which ended up being a good pick, right? Like those sorts of things, those sorts of decisions are prudent decisions that good teams tend to make, right?
I would say this. I think yes, he's going to make good decisions. I think quarterback evaluating there's only a few people who can do it. And yes, he can make every one of the right moves at every other position. But picking a quarterback is
That's why you do it at one, because one, you're taking the best quarterback in the draft, right? And if we went down the list, is more times than not the right pick. And not just like it's a coin toss. It's like 80-20. If you're taking that quarterback at 1, you're more than likely making the right choice at quarterback, particularly in that draft class, and then potentially like those number 1 draft picks make Pro Bowls. Those number 1 draft picks, throw for 4,000 yards. Those number 1 draft picks tend to do these things that you would expect high caliber quarterbacks to do. Right? And that's just what it is. If you're there, like I said, if they weren't at number 1, this isn't even a debate. If they're at number 1, they're taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Like if the Panthers gifted them 2 or 3, yeah, they're taking Marvin
Yeah.
Harrison Jr. 100%. But they
See, and
they
that's
gave him
I
a
think.
number 1. They gave him number 1, which is the most important position in the draft, and at the most important position has one of the most talented prospects. It's all prospect because we don't know what he's going to do on the NFL field. But that's the
Mhm.
draft is a gamble, and you have one of the highest rated prospects at the most important position sitting to you, gifted in a spot that shouldn't be yours, but it is.
And I think that's the part that I'm like, that's why I
Oh,
wouldn't take it
that's house
because
money, baby. What
it's
do you
not
do?
your spot.
What do you do in the
It
casino with house money?
I gamble
Yes,
it. I
that's
take
it.
it
You turn that
exactly.
into more
I'm gonna turn
house.
exactly with picks.
Okay,
I'm gonna then
and that's
get
wait.
rid of those and get
But
more picks. That's
here's the
my
thing.
pick. And I think if they would have earned that number 1 pick and Justin Fields went out there and threw bunches of stinkers
But
and
he did throw a
we
bunch of
clearly are
stinkers, though.
picking
That's the thing. He threw more
but
stinkers than not
enough to get
stinkers.
the
That's the problem.
enough though for the 9th pick though.
He,
8th or 9th pick, which is improvement on the year
oh, for sure.
before when he only got 3
Yes.
wins, right? So to me, I'm like, if we would have earned that, I'm like, okay, that's 2 years. We're picking the top 2. We're not getting better. This is not my guy. I'm going a different direction, and that's how it felt. Once that pick got gifted to me, I would have said, I got to turn this into
Oh, I
more
know.
money. I've got to turn this into
I'm
more
there. I'm
picks.
there with that
That's how
too.
I would
Like
have looked at
there
it.
is not. I don't
But
think the Bears make, in my opinion, a wrong move. I
a
don't think
bad
there's a bad
decision.
decision in this. I just think it's whatever the decision is, it's their decision, and it's like, okay, this is what you want to do. Let's make it work. And if it is trading back and getting just a boatload of picks and a player, then get that boatload of picks and a player and let's figure it out. And or if it's, well, we're going to trade Justin and we're going to take Caleb here. Okay, let's figure it out. We can move that number 9 pick around. Like if there's, if somebody falls to that spot or if there's availability, like maybe that's the pick. Who knows? But the opportunity is there. Like you said, when you have multiple picks in the first round, you have options. They have
Options.
more options than any team usually has, right? They have the number 1 pick gifted to them, so they're not the worst team, and they're an ascending roster, so they're not bottom of the barrel roster wise. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just opportunity, and like there's 2 ways to gamble it, right? You gamble it on the blue chip, which the Bears usually do not get blue chip players.
Yes.
Or do you gamble at
Yeah.
the potential for maybe there's more blue chips? And like you said, maybe they can trade up to a draft. But it's bird in the hand, two in the bush. Will there be a quarterback of this caliber in a future
Right.
draft class?
Next
You
year.
don't know
In
that.
a year. Yeah. You don't.
Like,
You don't. And I think the Bears are damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because let's say they decide to trade back and Caleb Williams
yep,
becomes the next
yep.
Mahomes. Then we're just like,
God,
oh Jesus
then
Christ.
this, oh God. Then they're the franchise that passed on Mahomes, which they still get reminded of every time they play Kansas City. Can you believe that they
Mhm.
didn't pick Mahomes and they could have? And then they're also, can you believe they didn't take Caleb Williams when they could have? Right? And because it's already happening with CJ flipping Stroud. He only had a season. Can you believe they didn't take CJ Stroud? Like, well, yeah, they weren't in the quarterback market last year. They were
They were
not.
not.
And I'm going to say if Caleb Williams was in the draft last year, they were probably still trading that pick and getting a ton more. Because why wouldn't
Mhm.
you? Right? Now,
Yeah.
now
It's
they're
the
in a
smart
situation
play.
where it's like we know who Justin is, we know what he's done, we know what his baseline is. Will that baseline get better? We hope it does, but that baseline is already below what we believe Caleb Williams' baseline is, right? Because his numbers are extremely replaceable from a passing standpoint. From a running position, no. From a leadership, like here's the thing that really got me today, and I saw this stat. Outside of DJ Moore, how many touchdown passes did Justin Fields throw to a wide receiver last year?
The wide receiver, I knew he was gonna say that wide receiver thing. Uh for his
The
career,
whole
probably
season.
not
The
many
whole
either.
season. Just
But
so
but the
DJ Moore
season,
had 9, I believe. How many
mhm.
more?
Mooney had to have at least one
How
or
many
two.
more? Okay, there were 2 more. what week was the last one thrown to another wide receiver, and who was that wide receiver?
I'm gonna say Mooney was the
Mooney
wide
was week one.
receiver. Okay. And he threw it to one other wide receiver. I don't even know another wide
It
receiver
was
on
week
that
two
team.
to Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool wasn't on the team. Wow. And then listen,
And it was Cole Kmet.
I can't blame
now
him.
here
Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. I
now
can't
there's
blame
statistics to this too, like that are just like, well, of course you throw it because freaking DJ Moore and Cole Kmet caught over 80% of the throws that were thrown to him, while the other receivers caught less than 50% of what was thrown to him. So like,
I can't
and
blame
that was
him
with
for
Darnell
throwing
Mooney, right? Like Darnell Mooney 2 years ago was a 1,000-yard receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Was not a 1,000-yard receiver the year before when he was the number one with Justin Fields. Was definitely not a 1,000-yard receiver this last year, and is not going to be a Bear next year.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, what's right and what's wrong? It's hard, right? Because it's like, on one hand, you have DJ Moore and Justin Fields were the number one quarterback wide receiver combo from a passer rating and like the number one pair. Like when Justin Fields threw to DJ Moore, he had like a passer rating of like 147, and he caught 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. Right. On the other hand, the rest, and it's not good.
But the rest are still going to be there if Caleb Williams
that's the thing though. But every team has the rest, right? Every team has the rest.
Is like
now, so let's take and it's unfair comparison because it's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback on the face of the earth, right? His team is the rest. His wide receivers are trash. He's got Kelsey and the rest, and he still throws for 4,200 yards, right? And but
that system is the system.
That is not. He is. They have a very good system, yes. But
I don't. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you put Mahomes in that Bears jersey, I don't think he's a 4,400 yard passer. I think they run a crazy offense. I think he gets sacked 50 times because he's not as mobile as Justin Fields, and his wide receivers can't get open.
Here's another number that is undeniable. Justin Fields' scramble rate is the highest in the NFL. And it's not entirely due to offensive line problems, right? Because he's not so
not quick. He doesn't make the quickest
that's
decisions
part of the problem.
With the ball.
A lot of his throws are not have low success rate values associated with them. These are statistics, right? And like statistics prove points or whatever. Like like I said, either way, I'm fine. I prefer Justin Fields because I like Justin Fields. He's my guy. I want him to do it. But I understand. I see the big picture that says this is very replaceable.
This is the time you take that number one pick. Even though you may like Fields.
You have to do it.
This may everything else things may not align like this again. Yes, I may get the number one pick, but Caleb Williams may not be there.
You hope they never happen again. I don't know. We spent way too much time talking on that. I didn't want to talk about it at all. Because it angers the blood.
Oh man, like that. What? Okay, I've said we're going to continue to talk about this. Now the hypothetical, he's gone. I don't think you get more than the third round pick.
Oh, I think you do, and here's why I think you get more than the third round pick. The reports have already come out that there were several teams interested in attempting to trade for Fields at the Senior Bowl. Right?
At the Senior Bowl?
Which was 2 weeks ago.
I think this is the best time to trade him.
If
this you don't trade him when you get Caleb Williams.
It will be at or shortly after the combine. A lot like the trading the first pick was last year. I think whatever move they're doing happens like beginning of March, because then you're Justin Fields is off the books for you. You don't have to pay the team bonuses or anything like that associated with his contract. Whoever else is picking him up. I think whatever decision happens, it's going to be after the combine where every general manager is in the same building talking. And the truth of the matter is, and as much as it bothers some people, self included a little bit, is the Bears are one that are on the clock, but they're like the most important team right now in the draft because they hold that number one pick. So it's and they know what they did last year. So I don't it's going to happen soon, and I hope to God he goes to a team that I don't feel gross about cheering for.
Cheering for the Atlanta Falcons would be the
Falcons,
team.
Steelers.
Steelers. Everyone says the money is on Russell Wilson going to Steelers. I don't particularly see it, but
I don't know.
I think I like Fields in a Steelers uniform more than I like Russell Wilson in that uniform.
But Justin Fields is from Georgia, and I will say this: if the Bears do deal him, they're going to try to do right by him and try to put him in a spot where he wants to be. I mean, if that opportunity aligns and the pieces are there, right? They're not going to just they're not going to give him away, right? So he goes to a team he wants to be on. But I mean,
I think also, man, you trade Fields. There's no mystery. We know you're going for Caleb Williams in the number one pick. We might as well just write him off the books right now. Just take him off the board. But then there's no trading. There's no one's going to trade. No one's even going to reach out for trades at that point in time anymore.
What if Caleb Williams?
You lose the mystery,
guy, though. What if it is Drake May? But see, so what if it is Jaden Daniels? Like, what if it is? What if they see this? They're like, all right, because Jaden Daniels was pretty amazing last year, and he got better as the year went on. And he's an
I saw some people say Giants at Jaden. I was like,
if he's there, you take
Daniels.
Him, right? Like he is an amazing dual threat, and he might end up being the best quarterback in the draft. Don't know, but what if that is the Bears' guy? What if they see that?
If that's their guy, they don't need him at number one.
So then you could still flop
then
back, right? You could still trade that one back to two and take him at two. Or you can go 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Depends on what New England wants, right? Like, there's opportunity there. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Can't go that far back.
You can't go past 3.
You got to get a quarterback. You got to get a quarterback.
If you trade Justin Fields and then you go... You miss out on your guy, then as a general manager, then you're just like, what the hell are you doing? That's like fireable offense, in my opinion, right there.
Yeah.
Well,
it looks like next week we're going to have to talk about our predictions of our way too early predictions. They'll still be way too early.
Way too early, but we got to do them. We were going to do them today, but I had to show that Kayvon Thibodeau trade thing, and that just spiraled into this.
Yes,
I don't want Kayvon Thibodeau. I like the dude, but I don't think he's as good as y'all think he is.
I like him. He's good. and I think he gets a raw deal. I've watched that guy in games, and he's all over the field. Like, he's chasing down runners. He's got a motor on him that does not stop. Is he still getting better at pass rushing? Yes.
He has to be.
But I think
better because his pass rush win rate is low.
Yes, I think he is. He still, I think, led the Giants in sacks this year. I think he still had a good number. But I think there's too many times where he's just not winning. Like you said, he's not winning. But I think he's getting better. I think his moves are getting better. But when he's not sacking the quarterback, I still see him out there. I don't see him taking plays off, which is fine. That's why I think he sometimes gets a bad rep, because when he's on, the man is a forced fumble, 2-sack guy. Like, after they made fun of him on the New York news and they said he was a bust, he went out and absolutely destroyed the Washington Commanders. Like, it was ridiculous. So
he will forever live my memory. And I don't know if you remember it or not, for doing the snow angel next to a convulsing Nick Foles.
He did.
That's how I remember. Like, he could have the greatest.
He never saw Nick Foles convulsing. First of all,
I don't think it was malicious, but that's just how he's burned in my memory. Is that
it was great, sir.
He sacked Nick Foles
to
the point of Nick Foles convulsing on the
He
ground.
did not see. He went from sack to, he was already on the ground to snow
I
angel.
understand. Right next to a man 5 feet away doing the same motions involuntarily.
I don't think he knew he was
They probably
doing that. I
brushed
don't
hands
think
a
he was
couple times.
mimicking her. I forgot
Oh,
about
I
that, but
didn't. I'll
yes,
never
I
forget
do
about that.
remember
That's
when
one
you
of those
said it.
things. It's just it'll stick with
Oh,
me forever.
yeah, I think that's part of the bad rep that he gets. He never seen it. He just tackled him. Everyone celebrates. Why? Everyone
I'll be on
celebrates.
my deathbed. Tell Kayvon Thibodeau he has no class for doing snow angels next to a convulsing Nick Foles. What's that, Dad? That'll be it. He's flatlined, but he said what he needed to say. I need to clear the air. Gather around, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. Gather around.
Listen, I like the guy. I thought I ain't gonna lie, when he first got there, I was like, oh God, I don't think I'm gonna like this guy's attitude. And
Mm-hmm.
I do. I
Oh,
really like
I don't
his
have anything
attitude.
against the dude at all. I just that thing is just always burned in my it'll be in my brain. I won't be able to let it go.
Oh, listen, Nick's okay. He got a championship. He's okay. It's
He'll
okay.
be on his deathbed. Tell Kayvon Thibodeau he hurt my feelings.
Classless.
No class, like school on Sundays. And he'll say that too.
Oh
Nick
no.
Foles, no.
Oh yeah, no. But my team hasn't been doing much, and I'm just waiting. I'm just
Yeah,
waiting.
I don't think your team's gonna do much. Well, we got free agency coming up, and
There'll be no free agency move for us. There should be no free agency move
they
for
got to
us.
do something.
I, that that's not the way to do it. I don't think this free agencies. If we can find a right tackle out there to cover up Evan Neal and move Evan Neal inside, do it. Or just Evan Neal's done. And I've written him off. I've written him off. I don't know. I
That's
don't know. If it's a technique thing, you got to show us that you're getting better in your technique 2 years
yeah.
in. If it's a technique
I don't
thing.
know.
And if it's not a technique thing, what is it?
It's not an athleticism problem.
It's not athleticism.
Is it?
It's not physicality. Is he like and he's getting beat on the same moves. And I'm not a professional. So Evan Niels, I'm sorry. If you hear this, I'm sorry. I don't know. All I'm seeing is this the stunts on on the defense are doing, you're getting confused. I don't know if it's you and your guard not talking. I'm talking directly to Evan Neal right now.
Listen
I don't
up,
know if you
Mr.
know
Neal.
this. I don't know what's going on between you and your guard, the guy to your left, but your communication stinks because y'all are just letting people just whiff by you. Like, and what Micah Parsons and Demarcus Lawrence is doing to you, it should be criminal. You you shouldn't allow it. You should probably call the police on what they're doing to you because
What
it
if you
shouldn't
did call the
happen.
police?
But they did nothing. They
Yeah.
told me, sir, this is not a criminal effect. Please
This
call
is a
411
non-emergency.
instead
Please
of
clear the air for real emergencies.
you're killing me out here. It's definitely an
It's in
emergency.
the game. I'm calling from where they play at MetLife Stadium. I'm calling from MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium.
What's your name, sir? My name's Evan Neal. I'm getting blown up on the right side. We will send
By who? Everyone.
everyone,
Just send help,
please.
please.
And then you get the classic
Oh.
1994 Madden ambulance drives onto the field and runs everybody over to take Evan Neal out.
He's oh man, I don't know. I wanted him to be good. I just want the offensive line to be good. I don't care who's on it. I just want the offensive line to be good. And the man is huge. He's
He
a
should be good.
monster. He should be. But I don't know. And he got injured this year, so that stinks because we really can't talk bad about him.
I mean, you can
Right?
talk bad all you want.
Because Because he's like, oh, I didn't get to showcase what I was going to do. I had all these moves. No, because we didn't get to see it because you was injured. Oh, man. Oh, I know we didn't do it and we don't have time, but I did want to say one award for next year that I know I'm giving
Oh,
out
comeback player of the
too
year, Evan
early.
Neal.
Comeback player of the year, Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers.
fuck that. You know,
I had to give that one to you.
you know what'll happen too.
I do. I do.
Save it for next week, Harlan. And now you know what my reaction is going to be too, and I'll forget by next week, and then you'll be like, "Comeback player of the year." I'm like, "Oh, who is it?" And you'll be like, "Aaron Rodgers." I'm like, "Oh, well, probably the exact same conversation." Ooh, Evan Neal? No.
No, he's not. No, he won't be. But
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man,
Now I'm upset just thinking about it. The man doesn't need
because
the award.
he doesn't. But he didn't play last year, and he's gonna have 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns if he plays. Who else are you gonna give it to? They might as well just put his name, etch his name in the award right now.
Ah, all right. Well, maybe it'll happen. Who knows?
What else you gonna do? What
I
else?
don't wish ill on anyone, but if his other Achilles tendon decided to disconnect from his leg, then that'd be fine too.
Yeah, that's what the only way to stop him from not getting it.
So be it.
I want to know what the odds are right now for comeback player of the year in
Oh,
Vegas.
I bet it's like minus 500 or something like that. Like you have to, you have to bet $500 to win 100. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, on that note, we should probably end this because now I'm disgusted and it's late. What are the odds?
Can't find it.
No, Vegas odds for 2024
They've got
NFL
futures
comeback.
bets. Check back later when the odds have been released. They don't
Oh,
have them for comeback player.
yeah. This year's odds, Tua was on there at plus 2,000. Damar Hamlin was the overall favorite. And,
Yeah. He was number 2 on the list, wasn't
yeah.
he? But when it comes out, we gotta bet. It's almost a
Yeah,
guarantee.
it's
It's
like
almost
free money right there. Yeah.
it really
All
is.
right.
But
Son of a.
all right.
Thanks, Harlan.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I guess that was us, right?
That's us. That is us. Another episode of
Oh,
TDs
we
and
said the name. You
Tangents.
said the name. We
Yes.
still haven't renamed it.
TDs and
Oh well.
Tangents.
All right. Well, I guess until next time. Oh
I'm
dear.
Harlan.